Hey guys, big time Viper fan here. Anyways, today we're going to talk about something really cool and not too talked about. But when Viper came out, season 1, they actually released some comics for it. It was a 4-part series, and again, season 1. So the star of this comic was Joe Astor. So here's part 1, part 2, part 3, and then part 4. So in part 1, we meet Joe Astor, and you also meet this bad guy who wants to take down Joe Astor. Here's the cover for issue number 1. It's pretty cool. You meet Frankie and Julian, and then here's Joe actually driving around in his RT-10, and to see it morph into the Viper. It's cool having those effects. And here he takes down some bad guys. And then it's pretty established that, you know, the bad guys, they don't like Joe Astor very much. But it's cool seeing the car here. So now the bad guys, I think they're called the Outfit. They concoct this plan to hire this guy, Homolka. And this guy is basically an artist, or he called himself an artist, but his main pieces of art involve people dying or just all kinds of destruction. So his next art piece is going to be him capturing Joe Astor, and we're actually just destroying him outright and his car. And so this guy, he gets money out of the deal, and he gets to take down the Viper team, and he gets these bombs, which he's going to use on the city, and that's going to be his main art masterpiece, is destroying the city. So, pretty cool work here. So you see Julian working on the Viper here, and now this is where Joe goes after the bad guys, and this time Homolka has this plan to take out Joe. So while Joe's in a high-speed chase, they actually make the road really slick here. Yeah, so basically, they make the road really slick, and then this guy Homolka blows up the guard railing, and that's his whole master plan, is to send this car off the cliff. And there it goes, right off the cliff. And also at this point, so you think Joe's dead. You don't find out until episode 2 or part 2 that he's still alive. Now this is Frankie. Frankie gets captured by Homolka. Frankie's he's basically their go-to guy for computer stuff. And then in part 2, you see that Joe Astor gets in this really bad wreck, but he actually survives the wreck, and it was all part of the bad guy's plan to take out Joe Astor. With this pretty cool plan, we find out that Joe is actually still alive. Because while Joe was crashing, Julian told Joe to eject the rocket fuel, and that would make the car not explode upon impact. So you see that the car is very badly damaged. You can see the door right there. But because of Julian's quick thinking, the Viper Defender survived the crash, and so did Joe. And so now the Homolka thinks that the bad guy, or he thinks that Joe is dead, so he's collecting his money. And this is the other bad guy. It's Cassidy. Cassidy's he's the one who made the plan with Homolka to take down the Viper. And this is Cassidy's mom. She loves art, and he introduces Homolka to his mom as an artist. But little does she know, he's not really an artist. He's just a guy who likes to kill stuff. So Joe finally makes it back to base, and then you see that Frankie's being tortured here by the bad guys. So really cool stuff happening here. Joe comes back after the bad guys, after he gets his car up and running again, and that's when Homolka sees that, oh my gosh, you know, Joe is actually still alive. So he didn't quite finish the job. And Cassidy, the other bad guy in charge of the outfit, thinks, you know, hey, you didn't really finish your job, did you? So, pretty cool artwork. Oh, whoops, hold on. Let me show you how it ends for this part. So, at the end, you see that Homolka is trying to blow up Cassidy's... well, basically, Homolka is declaring war on Cassidy now. And he even got in touch with his mom and started telling his mom that Cassidy isn't quite the angel that she thinks he might be. That's the end of episode 2. So in part 3, Joe is hot on the heels of Homolka. And here you see more crazy stuff. You know how Homolka has now turned on Cassidy. Because Homolka has his own plans. He wants to destroy the city and just do all kinds of perverted things in the name of art. And you also find out that Homolka does have control over Frankie. That's the guy working for the VIPER team. And Cassidy wants him, but Homolka's like, nope, he's mine. So that's Frankie. He actually gets away from Homolka while he's being interrogated. And then you see Joe to the rescue, coming up in his Defender, his VIPER Defender. And what you also see here is that the police are actually pretty corrupt. They're actually controlled by, well, some of them are under the control of the bad guys. You also find out at some point that the mayor is actually working with Homolka and Cassidy. So there's a lot of corruption within the government of Metro City. And then you see Homolka backstabbing more people. So he's kind of an all-around bad guy. And he just has some loyal fanatic followers. And here comes Joe again. Joe is chasing after Homolka, who is in the helicopter. But at this point, Homolka does have bombs, and he's saying, like, hey, dude, if you kill me, I'm going to destroy the city. So he's like, bring it on, my friend. And then in part 4, Joe Astor finally catches the bad guy, and then everyone lives happily ever after. This is going to be the conclusion of this part of this series for the comics. So here you see, it comes back where they left off in part 3, where Joe's got the gun on Homolka inside the helicopter. So instead of killing Homolka, Joe has this plan just to blindside him by shooting into the cockpit and see if he can get away. So that does cause the chaos that Joe wants. So the helicopter does start to come down a little bit, and then Joe gets away. And this is where you see that the cops are working with the mayor, who is actually a bad guy, and under the influence of Cassidy and Homolka. And then here's Cassidy and Homolka talking to each other. They are not friends at this point, but they are both bad people, very bad people. And luckily now you can see that Frankie has been taken back by the VIPER team, so he's no longer a hostage of Homolka. So towards the end here, you see that Homolka's grand plan was basically just to blow up the city, and now he wants to film it. So that's going to be his crowning masterpiece. Again, he considers himself an artist. But Joe comes out to the rescue, and he brings down Homolka. He doesn't kill him, but he does take him down. And then you see that Metro City is saved from the evil plot. And then ends with the trio being back together here. There's Frankie, Julian, and Joe. Alright guys, so yeah, I just wanted to take a look at those comics and show you what the comics look like. It's a really old comic from the 90s, and I think fans of the show might have missed this one when this came out. So I just wanted to shed some light on that. Now, overall, this was a really great comic because it was definitely in line with season 1 of VIPER. Because you got Joe Astor, and I also like all the humor that they put in this comic. Because there's like one part where the bad guys are trashing Joe Astor's Defender, and he's just looking out the window and go, "Wow, you guys can't even touch me." And then he drives off, and then one of the bad guys takes off the windshield wiper, and he tells Cassidy, "Hey, look at this! I took a windshield. You want to get it analyzed?" And the bad guy's like, "Dude, you want me to analyze a windshield? Are you crazy?" Some other funny parts is like towards the end and towards the beginning, you see that Frankie is still trying to drive the Defender. That's like his goal in every episode is to drive the car around, but they always say no to him. What I really like about this comic is that they have a lot of car action in it. Because when you watch the TV episodes, I love the TV episodes, of course, but they don't show car action 100% of the time. It's usually like towards the beginning, middle, and end, but this one is like 80%, 75% of the comic is just car action. So it's actually really neat. I did like the writing. It's very consistent with the TV series. So if you can get a hold of these comics, I would totally recommend it. It's not like they're expensive or anything because people don't consider these too valuable. It's only considered valuable by the fans like myself. So if you're a fan, you should probably get these for a really good price. Thanks for watching.